Wait a minute. We showing the originals too much attention. Stop talking to them. Come over here and talk to me. Bruh. When what the baby gonna do? If you crying all the goddamn time, what the baby gonna do? The baby gotta go out and get a job? Hello there, love bugs. Hello there, bellas. If you have not already done so, please, child, I'm feeling real sassy today. Real sassy. Please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Today's lookies would be our Geneva shades. Ooh, real lightweight. Easy to maneuver. They don't hurt the back of your ears. And on top of that, I think they only $15. Okay. Then we got our camellia flower, of course, $15. And I have one pair of lovely heart earrings left. Just one. And if you are not already a part of our book club, child, I am feeling myself in these shades. I'm sorry, y'all. And if you are not already a part of our book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, yo, can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's continue talking about David Ritz, Divided Soul, the life of Marvin Gaye. Before starting what's going on, Gaye put himself through a period of hibernation and preparation. In the late 60s, he psychologically insulated himself from the pressures of show business by refusing to perform. Like who? The goddamn Aretha Franklin. Y'all know that lady getting her mood. She don't give two craps about whether or not them good white people done paid her $250,000 to come up there and sing Respect. She don't care, because if she ain't in the mood to sing, Riri ass going back to sleep. Musically, though, he continued to experiment and grow. In fact, while he wanted to give the world the impression that he had retreated, he was in fact stepping out. For the first time in his career, he decided to produce. Rather than begin with himself, Marvin, always somewhat cautious, practiced on a group called The Originals. His first effort for them, Baby I'm For Real, hit #1 on the soul charts and number 14 on a pop listing in late 1969. Oddly enough, Marvin wrote Baby I'm For Real with Anna. If their marriage was rocky, how did they manage to work together? You have to understand, Marvin explained. One day, I'd be throwing bottles at Anna, and the next day, I'd be loving her like we just met. Fighting stimulated us. Besides, Anna was always good for my music. She'd give me the idea and push me any way she could. I'm the sort of artist who can always use a push. My moods can get a little heavy. Girl, you know why your moods get heavy? Because you hollering around here that your ass is schizophrenic. In a video before this, he was like, yeah, we are all schizophrenic. I'm not schizophrenic. Okay, now I might be some other things. The Bells, which Marvin co-wrote and produced for the Originals, was also a commercial success. A third original number, also written and produced by Marvin Gaye, We Can Make It Baby, appeared on the soul charts in 1970. Marvin's relationship with the group was marginal and lasted only a few years. Wait a minute. We showing the Originals too much attention. Stop talking to them. Come over here and talk to me. Bruh, when what the baby gonna do? What the baby gonna do? If you crying all the goddamn time, what the baby gonna do? The baby gotta go out and get a job? In the same year, while Sly Stone was broadening the boundaries of soul music, influencing everyone from Marvin to Miles, the Beatles had split up and John and Yoko were singing about instant karma. The Carpenters were hot. So were Simon and Garfunkel. Al Green, a funky young singer, had his first R&B hit covering Norman Whitfield's Can't Get Next to You. Meanwhile, at Motown, Whitfield found another macho voice in Edwin Starr, whose War went #1 on the pop charts. Message songs are selling. Diana Ross successfully kicked off her solo career with Ashford and Simpson. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Child, remember y'all told me that Valerie Simpson is like, no, I didn't do that Tammy Terrell voice on the last album. Child, y'all said that Valerie Ashman, is it Valerie Ashman? What's her name? Simpson? Oh, Valerie Simpson. Y'all told me that Valerie Simpson was like, that's not me, that's Tammy. That's Tammy, girl. That's Tammy. Why the lady in the hospital dying? You trying to tell me that Tammy Terrell was the one singing on that last album with Marvin? Okay, girl, but I get it, because they probably gave you like $3 million to never say that it was you, child. Because that's what be happening sometimes. It's called hush money. Diana Ross successfully kicked off her solo career with Ashford and Simpson's Reach Out and Touch Somebody's Hand and Ain't No Mountain High Enough. The same song which had worked wonders for Marvin and Tammy. By then, Diana and Barry were living out in Hollywood. I asked Gaye whether there was anything to the rumor that Gordy was pushed out of Detroit by the mafia. Okay, this is Marvin's stance. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. The mafia ain't never come to me and say nothing to me. Okay, and I'm one of his moneymakers. So, that's bullshit. Now, what Marvin does recall is a time where some goons came backstage and was like, we trying to be your manager. And Marvin Gaye was like, my manager? The fuck? I treated it like a joke. Told them to get out and never heard from them again. Barry left Detroit to make Diana a Hollywood movie star. Between November 1969 and September 1970, America's response to Michael Jackson's 11-year-old voice was spectacular. The group's first 4 releases were successive #1 pop hits. I Want You Back, ABC, The Love You Saved, and I'll Be There. Michael was deeply influenced not only by Marvin, but by Diana and Smokey. 14 years later, he would realize Berry Gordy's wildest dream. A graduate of Motown School of Song and Dance, became the most popular entertainer in the world. By then, though, Michael was with CBS. CBS, girl. CBS, what the hell? It was Frankie Lyman all over again, Marvin said. Only this kid had mastered James Brown's moves. Michael was like Stevie from the very beginning. He worried me. Okay. So don't forget that time that Marvin Gaye carried Michael Jackson. Y'all need to really, if you not have already, looked at my Jan Gaye's playlist, because Jan Gaye book to me so far is better than this book. What do you guys feel? Finally, Marvin was ready to go to work. An artist of brilliant, intuitive timing, he had waited just long enough. By allowing time for reflection, even his writing blocks had worked to his advantage. Gaye had refilled his creative cup. For the first time in his career, he felt capable of moving beyond the personal to do the universal. Although the first song would be written by a collaborator, giving Marvin his usual initial push, the scope of the suit itself came from Gaye's spiritual examination of the ways of the world. He turned his thesis, which, like Gaye himself, was a mixture of faith and despair, into a simple question. Looking at a crazed America at the start of the 70s, he asked, what's going on? Convinced that he had to answer. From Jump Street, Motown fought what's going on, Marvin claimed. They didn't like it, didn't understand it, and didn't trust it. Because remember, Berry Gordy's sentiment, and this is information that we got from reading several books about Motown. But remember, Berry Gordy, he liked his stuff clean. What you won't do is come over here and make a problem. That's what you won't do. So he was against what's going on. It was too controversial. That was something different from the Motown style. My attitude had to be firm. Basically, I said, put it out or I'll never record for you again. Now, I heard that before. Okay, in several books, they said Marvin Gaye was like, Berry Gordy, but if you don't put this album out, brother, I will never sing another note for you again. Oh, Berry Gordy out there making movies and shit. Okay, Marvin Gaye is like, Diana may be the princess, but I'm the prince. Oh. When you realize your power. Everything about the album was different. The back cover showed a bearded, distraught Marvin standing in the rain wearing a tie he had sworn never to wear. For the first time on one of his records, lyrics were listed and musicians credited, in spite of the fact that, according to his sister Jean, he had long ignored his family in Washington, D.C. He dedicated the work to his parents, among others. Thanks to the Reverend and Mrs. Marvin P. Gaye Sr. for conceiving, having, and loving me. His sisters, brothers, wife, son, and friends. Clarence Paul and Harvey Fuqua among them. Berry Gordy was not mentioned, nor would Marvin ever thank him on the back of an album. Marvin's instincts were to write from his immediate experience. Thus, What's Going On was set in America's black urban neighborhoods, the territory of his childhood. The title song began with party sounds. Marvin's friends, Lem Barney, Mel Farr, Bobby Rogers of Smokey's Miracles, and L.G. Stover created an intimate atmosphere in which Marvin felt most comfortable. They were family. The first two songs set the scene and stated the sermon theses, combining an urgent 1971 political plea with the personal note to his own father. He cried out to his mother, to his brother, to all the brothers dying in the war, and finally pleaded with Father, singing that there's no need to escalate. If I was arguing for peace, Marvin said, I knew I'd have to find peace in my own heart. All the time since I'd been in Detroit, Father and I had little to say to each other. It was still hard for me to even look at him, even though I knew that he'd been collecting articles on me for the last 10 years. He kept everything more for his ego than mine. He might have been proud, but he was more jealous than anything else. In What's Happening, Brother, Marvin spoke through Brother Frankly, just back from Vietnam, facing a divided country and an uncertain future. The central character admitted confusion, not understanding what was happening across the land. Uncertainty led to escape. Drugs, its pains and pleasures were the subject of the eerily seductive Flying High in the Friendly Sky. Containing the seed of troubled man, Gaye's next major work, the song not only laminated the spread of dope in the ghetto, but echoed Gaye's concern with his own growing cocaine habit, calling it self-destruction, and admitting he was hooked. The despair expanded to the horror of the nuclear holocaust. Save the Children became the album's most poignant piece, as Marvin asked a series of questions in a speaking voice filled with melancholy. Will all the flowers fade? Can the world be saved? Is humanity destined to die? Are our children fated to suffer? Do we care enough to save ourselves? But in Right On, Marvin turned away from the world, at least for a moment, to describe his own condition with characteristic candor. He admitted to a life of privilege, money, and good fortune. And yet, with so much wealth surrounding him, he saw himself as a man who drowned in a sea of happiness. Such was the story of his life. What's Going On concluded by repeating a small section of the title in which Gaye expressed his sympathy with the rebellious youth of the early 70s, arguing against the injustice of judging people by the length of their hair. Despite what Marvin called Motown skepticism, the response in the marketplace was immediate and overwhelming. The album was the most successful in Gaye's recorded history. Between February and October of 1971, 3 of the songs, What's Going On, Mercy Mercy Me, and Inner City Blues, hit the top 10 on the soul and pop charts. Let me tell you something about that Inner City Blues, baby. Make me wanna holler the way they do my life. Marvin turned to his fans, to the very women whose love he both resented and required to regain his strength. He needed to be adored. Such was also the situation after making What's Going On in 1971. In spite of his fears of going public again, Marvin hungered for attention and gradually emerged from his cocoon to accept the praise for what was being called. Now, if you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Now, remember this. The same people that you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. My naysayers, my patron loves. You babies, have a good one.